Sweden is not perfect. 20% on that?
Come into my basement and have some candy.
What are you doing? So much tax.
It's just such a regimented thing here. Gives me mad anxiety. Hello everyone!
Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Will.
I'm Morgan.
I'm Swedish.
I'm American.
And we're currently living in Gothenburg, Sweden.
Just trying to navigate life as an international couple. Today we have an exciting video for you. We're talking about cultural differences between my country and your country.
It's about to get steamy in here.
Also, welcome to coffee and tea time. Even though there's no coffee present, there's matcha, and you know, you gotta give the matcha credit.
Didn't get that memo, but sure. A lot of the time when we meet new people or old friends, they ask, oh my gosh, it must be so weird or hard to date someone from a different culture. And most of the time, no. It's just like dating someone from the same culture.
There's just a lot of differences.
We've been together more than 3 years, and I feel like a lot of things didn't start to come up culturally till, I don't know, almost 3 years into our relationship.
It's because I had never spent time in your country until 2021. I never knew the differences because you never brought them up, really. We spent multiple months in America before I came to Sweden, and you just never said anything.
Well, that's what today is for, I guess.
Let's get started. This deserves the first introduction. Swedish Fika.
Oh, the Swedish Fika.
So in Sweden, they have this thing where, what time would you say you do it?
You can do it all day, every day. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Fika is the ultimate excuse for having a snack.
It's basically an excuse to stop and have a coffee or eat something sweet. Like, they just say, we're having fika, which makes it acceptable.
Most of the time, it's coffee and tea with cinnamon bun or anything like that. What we really love to have is the chocolate bowl. The chocolate bowl.
Also something I never knew about until I came to Sweden. I love fika, personally. You never even told me about fika until I came here.
I don't know, you're a matcha person, I'm a coffee person.
But you can have matcha during fika.
Yeah, you can. I actually told Morgan the other day, before I met you in 2018, I had never heard about matcha. I knew nothing about matcha lattes or what this little thing was.
He said, I didn't know people drink green things except a green smoothie.
But yeah, Sweden has a very strong heritage of eating biscuits and cookies with their coffee. Usually a fika, or the most classic one, is at 11 a.m., which is 11 kaffe, 11 coffee. You'll have 7 kinds of cookies. 7 sorters kaffe, 7 sorters kakor. Yeah.
Losing your Swedish,
I'm losing my Swedish, not good.
So yeah, we love fika.
It's the best.
And that's a great segue into our next one, which is Saturday candy, because you said that Swedes love their sweets, they love their sugar, and on Saturdays, they make an excuse to eat candy. You might have seen our video where I tried Swedish candy.
That was fun.
Every grocery store you go to will have
a wall.
Basically a candy store. Like when you go into a candy store in America, they have the bulk candy that you pay per weight.
In Sweden we call it loose candy, Lördagsgodis.
That doesn't sound very appealing.
The candy's gotta loose, woo, catch it!
Loose candy.
Basically, that got really dark history behind it. Actually, in the 50s or 60s, they like tested on mental patients in the south of Sweden the effects of sugar, how it broke down the teeth, and after that they realized that there needed to be a cultural change in Sweden because so many had issues with their teeth. So they introduced the Saturday candy. Basically save all of your candy eating for one day of the week.
So does that mean you can just binge out on Saturdays and eat as much candy that you would throughout the week? Because I don't know if this really makes much sense.
Well, that's what they mean. It's just like they don't want people to continuously eat sugar because it's bad for your teeth and like for your health.
And if you're having a fika every day, it's fine because it's fika, so.
Swedes are picky when it comes to sugar, but fika, don't touch that.
Fika is the exception to the rule.
Fika is exception to the rule. Everyone loves a fika. No, but the Saturday candy I grew up with, you got a small little budget.
Is it expensive?
No, it depends on where you go. I used to go to something called the candy basement, where it was like you could buy bulk candy. Was that what you called it?
That also sounds sketchy.
Yeah.
Candy basement.
Yeah.
Come into my basement and have some candy. That's terrifying!
Either you got a budget for money, or your parent would be like, you can have 10 pieces.
Okay, that's not like eating too much.
No.
You just see the buckets of bulk candy and it's just like, oh, not very sanitary.
But you know what? I feel like every Saturday, people eat up all of the candy of the wall, so it gets
It's
renewed.
refilled.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we don't partake in Saturday candy, but that is a huge thing here, so we felt like we needed to mention it. Number 3.
In Sweden, people have summer vacation. They have paid vacation during the summers, which is like somewhere between 6 to 8 weeks. Don't ask me how much exactly, because I've never had it, because I have never had an ordinary job.
This was something that I was very confused about when we spent last summer in Sweden, because his friends and his family, they told me that they were going to have the entire summer off. And in my world, if you're a teacher or something like that, that allows you to have the entire summer off. That makes sense to me. But I don't understand how people can just not work for the entire summer here.
Some people choose to, some people don't choose to, but I think the general is that people have 6 weeks of paid vacation for an entire year, so then people choose to like, okay, I'll take all of July off.
Because the weather is the rest of the year.
Yes, because the weather is not good. When the sun's out in Sweden, people are out and about.
It's basically like taking your vacation weeks or your paid time off.
Yes.
But people just do it all at the same time.
All at the same time.
Because the weather isn't good the rest of the year.
Yes.
But what about you could travel somewhere else?
Well, that's very true. Some people do that as well. However, I feel like most people also take it during the summer holidays, because that's when most workplaces will hire temps. There will be like a low season in a lot of industries. So basically the summer is just a good fit for everyone to have a vacation.
The next thing is taking your shoes off. This, I guess, is a thing all over the world, but I feel like it's more depending on the household that you're going into. But in Sweden, if you walk into somebody's house, take your shoes off, period. Don't ask questions.
Like, you would never walk into someone's house with shoes on in Sweden. People would be like, what are you doing?
I guess it's probably this way in like Japan too, but it's not a bad thing. It's just something I noticed.
I think it's a good thing personally, because I think it keeps the house more clean. Most apartments and most like houses in Sweden will have this little hallway or like vestibule before you walk into the house.
I feel like that's because of the taking your shoes off thing.
Yeah.
That all houses, apartments, they all have like a little area
Well, in
to
America,
take your shoes off. Like, think about our apartment in LA. We didn't have that.
no, you walked straight into the apartment. You were like just into the living room.
I guess that's another thing that just is because of the weather.
Yeah, because here, when it's snowy and gray, you don't want to walk outside and then just walk around your house with your shoes on. I wipe Callie's paws every single time she comes inside. Is that not a thing in America with your dogs?
Not really.
It's not?
I mean, yeah, if it's snowing outside and Callie walks outside and then she tries to bring snow clumps into the house, I'm obviously gonna wash her feet off. It's just such a regimented thing here.
I think it's maybe because I'm brought up like the last couple of years with a Rottweiler, and Rottweilers run around the forest and they will have dirty paws, so you gotta just like wipe it off.
Fair enough. Next is paternity leave.
Wow, Sweden.
Yeah, let's give a slow round of applause for that one.
The fact that both the mom and dad can have a leave after the baby comes that is paid, either just by the state if you don't have a job, but most workspaces will actually give you equal pay when you are leaving for paternity leave.
And how long does the dad get to take off?
Both parents have at least a year to take off.
So they can take it separately.
They can take it separately or together. Most people do it separately. Some parents take it out, some parents don't, but it's an incredible system, and it's incredible that this country is just like, you know what? Stay at home with your child, bond, and we will still pay you. That's not really a thing in America, is it?
Oh, it's definitely not a thing. I've known of dads going back to work a couple days after the baby is born.
What I think is important to mention as well, the fact that the dad gets time off paid to be with their child also indicates or pushes for the fact that it's important for men to be fathers and men to be involved with their kids and take part and take responsibility. It's not just the mom's responsibility to take care of the children, it's also the guy's part.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. I'm on Sweden's side. But also, healthcare. That goes within the healthcare here. I think you guys have a really good system when it comes to healthcare. It's included for everybody, right?
Yes. People always love to bring up the fact that in Sweden you pay so much tax. Yes, we do pay a lot of tax, but there's a lot of things that are included into this tax. Healthcare is one of them. Schools is one of them.
Your whole life, school is free.
Yes.
It makes sense because then you pay it back your whole life in taxes, so
it balances out, but at the end of the day, being part of a system, and trust me when I say Sweden is not perfect, but just being founded in a community where you're a part of the community, and if you bring your part in, the community will help you a bit out. That was like at least the dream that people are dreaming about in Sweden when like I was brought up. Yeah, I don't know how real that is anymore. People always love to put Sweden on a pedestal and be like, best country in the world, you can be whoever you want. This one was very hard for Morgan when I met her in Germany.
That is public transportation. Public transportation in Europe in general is just super different than what I'm used to in America. Most places in America don't really have public transportation that is worth taking, except for New York, obviously. There are places that have really good public transportation. In Europe, they have public transportation pretty much everywhere. You grew up taking it your whole life. You're so used to it when you moved to Germany, whereas I was just a lost little puppy dog in the city of Hamburg.
We have working public transportation. In my hometown Gothenburg, we have everything from buses to trams to trains to boats. Boats, I mean ferries. And it works, it's simple, it's affordable. Students who are studying from the age of 0 to 18 actually get a free bus card every year from the school in the state, so they can take the public transportation for free anywhere in the city. But I think the main difference here is that our cities, and Sweden specifically, it's kind of like made for public transportation. The city structure and everything around it, it allows for trams, for trains, for buses to work, while a lot of the places in the US where we've been, the cities are revolving around cars and the usage of cars.
Yeah, and it was built that way. Whether it was built for public transportation here in LA and stuff like that, it's definitely not built for public transportation. I don't really like public transportation just because I didn't really grow up using it. So I'm not accustomed to it. I'm not used to it. I much prefer driving in a car by myself, getting to listen to my music. I get very motion sick. So for me, being able to operate the vehicle that I'm riding in is huge. When somebody else is in charge, I get really, really motion sick.
As many of you know, I'm a horrific driver, and it doesn't help when Morgan's sitting in the passenger seat.
We've made some jokes about it before.
We're very happy to have an automatic car now that Morgan can drive. Is that very different between America and Sweden, driving here?
Driving is different in the sense of what you said, that the city is built for public transportation. So driving into the city gives me mad anxiety. There are train tracks everywhere in the city, and like bus lanes that are only for buses but not clearly marked. I'm terrified that I'm gonna drive into a bus.
You need to be constantly aware of like, is that tram gonna turn to the right? Because that tram will not wait for you. That tram will go. It will be like, sorry, mister.
I won't stop. That's another thing, is that we grow up and we get our license when we're 16 years old, and you guys wait until you're 18. Some people never get a driving license in Europe just because public transportation is the way.
Well, in America, you can't really function without a driving license.
I prefer my country in that way.
Fair enough.
The matcha was good today.
It was good? Well, I'm glad. You see, when you go to a coffee shop in Europe, if your drink is good, you tip the person. In America, you tip everyone all the time, regardless. If your food, your drink is crap, if the service was bad, still tip them. The first day we were in LA, perfect example, we show up to this place, the guy is super rude, he acts
pretty much like we're not even there.
Yeah, and then when the bill comes, I reach for it and I start paying, but I fill in no tip. And Morgan says, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean? She's
you
like,
have to tip.
You have to tip. I was like, I'm not tipping. Are you mad, woman? Like, he was the worst.
It's like this was your first day in America.
It was,
pretty much was.
It was my first day in America.
It was your first adult day in America.
Yeah. I had been to New York when I was a kid. Like,
welcome to LA, babe.
Like,
20% at least.
No.
So pissed.
No. However, then I learned that in some states in America, the waiters
literally get paid $2 an hour.
They get paid nothing and they live off their tips. I can empathize with that. The tipping was a hard part. It was really hard, but I have matured now. I have learned ever since I lived in LA with you in 2019. I have become better at it.
We grow.
We grow.
Next, Swedish people love to fly under the radar, so to speak.
In Sweden we have this thing called Jantelagen.
Which means don't stand out.
It's literally, don't stand out. Like, don't be anything more than necessary. It's literally like, do your thing, wake up, work, provide for your family.
Don't cause a commotion.
Don't be too much of a personality. It's just one of those like cultural underlying factors. Very much low-key, which is hilarious because if you've been on this channel and you've started to know me, I am not like that at all.
You're so different than from where you come from.
My parents were smart, so they put me in ballroom dancing when I was 6. Good on them. People just want to be comfortable. And being comfortable and providing for your family, if that's your life goal, that's okay.
That's not really how it is in America.
No?
We're loud and proud over there. That brings us to our last topic, which we have left for last because it's the least important in our world, but we need to talk about it because it's a big thing here in Sweden, and that is that alcohol is government regulated.
Yes, it is. You can only go to one shop, Systembolaget, Monday to Saturday. Sunday, it's closed. The Swedish government own a monopoly on alcohol, which means that anything above 3.5% alcohol, you have to go to this one shop.
Anything above 3.5, so do they sell things like that in regular grocery stores?
So you can buy like a beer with 3.5% at a regular shop. That's what's called a people's beer. Folköl. While a strong beer, 5%, starköl, you have to go to Systembolaget to buy. One day we were walking down the street in Malmö and there was this massive line outside of a store.
Literally wrapped around the building.
And Morgan goes, what is that? And I go, oh, that's the liquor store. And it's Saturday, almost closing time. People were just like hustling for the last drinks. But here's the strange thing. You can go out to a club and a pub and drink whatever you want, how much you want, within reasonable limits, when you're 18 years old in Sweden, like many other countries in Europe. But you have to be 20 to go to the liquor store and buy stuff.
And in America, you have to be 21, so there's another cultural difference for you.
I'm like, what is so magical about 21?
After you have one full year of your 20s, you know, then you're mature enough to be able to buy and consume alcohol. I have no idea.
There's a lot of differences between Sweden and America. At the end of the day, both countries are great in many ways, but
both of them have their pros and cons, let's just say that.
Definitely.
We hope you enjoyed this week's video. Thank you guys for tagging along with us. If you would like to see more content from us, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and hit that thumbs up.
Thank you so much, and take care, stay safe and healthy.
We'll see you next time.
Hej då!
Let's freaking go! No, that doesn't make any sense.
No, sorry. Awesome.
It's hot in here. I'm a little lost.
Me too.
Hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see.
20% on that?
So,
when you met me, did you ever feel like it was gonna be an issue that I was Swedish?
Why are you asking this?
Because I definitely felt like that about you being American.
You did?
Well, obviously, like, I'm from Europe, like, people have, like, connotations
Obviously.
about Americans. There was, like, certain things I didn't know, like, there were certain things I had to establish.
A lot of people at my work were like, watch, you're gonna meet a European guy, fall in love, and you're gonna move there. And here we are.